Good morning, guys. Right, English today. I'll be quite quick, hopefully. The learning objective is I can finish and publish my myth. So, three things you need to do today. You need to finish your myth, that's paragraph 5, if you haven't done so already. Check, edit, and improve it, and then publish it. Right, so paragraph 5, here's a quick recap of the things you need to include. So it's the final paragraph of your story. I've got some questions here that can guide you in case you're still a bit stuck. So where does your hero go when they have slayed the beasts? How do they get there? What happens as a result of your hero's victory? Who benefits? Are people freed? Are the people happy? So obviously a real hero doesn't just work for themselves. They do something for the people, don't they? So yeah, just think about what good came out of your hero's victory. How do other people react to the victory? Does a queen, king, or god reward the hero in some way? I know in some myths, humans actually become gods because of what they did. So you can consider that. And is there a moral to the story? Now, I don't want you to write the moral of the story is, but you could say something like, you know, what good comes out of it? So something like, from that day forward, I don't know, the king of Athens was never allowed to do such and such. So something, I think if you just say the moral of the story is, that would sound a bit clumsy, but yeah, so some good that came out of it, what we learn, or the people of Athens learned never to, something like that. Or even, a lot of Greek myths actually, they sort of, they're there to explain why certain natural things happen. So the story of Persephone and Hades going into the underworld is a story designed to explain why we have spring and summer and winter and autumn. So the Greeks use stories to explain natural things as well. So you could try and include something like that if you're feeling really brave. It might be a bit tricky at this stage, though, I understand. Right, when you have finished your story, you need to do a lot of checking, editing, and improving. So let's just remind you of some of the things you could do. So have a think about the comments I made on your work when I've checked them. Obviously, capital letters and full stops. I'm still seeing some missing capital letters for names of places. So just consider that. If you've got a name of a Greek island, it needs a capital letter, or even the name of the beast. Some people have been missing those, I've noticed. Spellings, obviously, just keep checking. Other punctuations, so are we using question marks? Are you making your writing more exciting with an exclamation mark, ellipses, the ... So just check for all those. And obviously, just does your sentence make sense? Sometimes I read things and it's just, I can tell that a child hasn't read it back to themselves because it doesn't quite make sense. And then you can, when it comes to improving, you can think, are there any adjectives or adverbs you can add to your sentences? So adverbs are ly words, aren't they? So Theseus bravely entered the labyrinth. Bravely would be the adverb. They're nice and neat. You can always add some in if your sentence is looking a bit boring. They're quite easy to add later on. And can you choose better words than the ones you have already written? Are some of your words a bit boring? Could you improve them with a more interesting verb, for example? Now, something I noticed a few people were getting wrong when I checked their work is people are telling their stories in the present tense. They're writing things like, King Minos owns a beast called the Minotaur. Now, think about it. A Greek myth happened thousands of years ago, didn't it? So it should be in the past tense. So rather than saying King Minos owns a beast, you'd say King Minos owned a beast called the Minotaur. Have a go at this one. Theseus travels by boat to Crete. Well, it happened a long time ago, so Theseus travelled. So yeah, some of you are mixing up present tense and past tense. It doesn't sound too good when you do that. Right, so lots and lots of checking, editing, and improving. And then finally, we've got this publishing. Publishing is when you take a piece of writing and you present it, basically you write it out neatly, but you present it in some interesting way. Usually, you know, something that could be displayed in the classroom. So I thought, I'll give you some different options today. So you could just copy out your story in neat in your book, because by the time you've made changes and edits, then, you know, often it looks a bit messy. So you could just really focus on the handwriting. You could rewrite the story, including illustrations. So you could draw some pictures. But I thought something really nice you might like to do, is to make old parchment paper. I don't know if you've ever done this before, but can you see these bits of paper someone's presented their work on? It looks like old parchment, doesn't it? Like old scrolls that are hundreds, thousands of years old. So the way to do that is you make a cup of coffee, you dip paper in it, so you might want to put the coffee in a plate, you know, an eating plate, and then you sort of get a piece of paper and you dunk it in the coffee, let it sit there for a bit so it soaks it up. And then you dry the paper. You might want to hang it out to dry outside. And then you can, to make these edges here, you can burn them. Now, obviously, you're going to do, if you're going to do this, you're going to do it under adult supervision. So speak to a grown-up. I'd suggest you do it outside, not inside, so you're not creating another fire hazard. But maybe have a candle and you just gently burn the edges and keep blowing it out, and then you get this lovely effect, sort of crusty edges. And then after that, obviously, you write your story on it. So that's another option. It would look amazing if you could do that. By the way, don't forget a title. I noticed some people didn't give their stories, their myths, a title. Right. Oh, that's something else. Right, I'll stop there. I'm really looking forward to seeing your published bits of writing. I've seen some lovely stuff so far. See you later.